Hey there, everyone. Welcome to episode number 4 of High Low, the MMOBomb game show. A chance for two of our panelists to show off their knowledge of free-to-play gaming, and a chance for the rest of us to laugh and make fun of them when they're totally off base with their guesses. My name is Jason Winter, and I'll be your host for today. Before we get into the rules, let's introduce our contestants. First of all, fresh off his victory at the World Spam Eating Championship, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman. How are you, Mike?
Oh, lots of spam, and more spam, and spam. Spam. One for you Monty Python fans out there. Yes, it wasn't supposed to be me this week. Our guest host couldn't make it this week. We'll make it next week, so it won't be me next week. I'm filling in, but I wouldn't mind a little redemption in the process.
Little bit. See if you can get back, even up the score a little bit. We'll keep a running track like through the years and see how you guys do against each other. So there you go, a little redemption. And taking a break from his busy swimsuit modeling career, we have Zach Sharps on the line. How are you doing, Zach?
Well, I'm not the Atlanta Falcons, so I'm doing pretty well.
Excuse me. I must have been something there.
Yeah.
All right. So, in case you haven't seen it before, this is how we play high-low. I've got 6 questions, all related to free-to-play gaming, all with a numerical answer. Each round, I'll pose a question to the players, who will have to give us an answer, or one of our people will have to give us an answer they think is correct. And their opponent will try to guess whether they think the real answer is higher or lower than that answer. I'll reveal it, and if the second person is correct about being higher or lower, they score a point. Otherwise, the first player scores a point. We'll keep going until someone reaches 4 points, but if we're tied at 3 after 6, we've got a special tiebreaker question that we'll use to determine who the true champion is. All right, you guys ready to play?
Let's do this.
Yep.
All right, here are today's categories. Age of Conan, Dungeons & Dragons Online.
Oh.
God, Mike's hating it already. Free Realms.
Oh.
Rift.
All right.
RuneScape. And War Thunder. No comment on the RuneScape. Okay.
No.
Oh, this is...
All right. Well, as the returning champion, we'll let Zach choose first, so have at it.
Oh, man. I'm going to go Age of Conan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Zach, you want to put your camera down a little?
Yeah.
Thank you. There we go.
All right.
Up. Go back.
Too far. We don't want to see your stumpy lights.
There we go. Okay. We're good.
All right, Age of Conan. Now, everyone's talking about Conan these days, thanks to the new Conan Exiles game from Funcom, but that's not free to play, so we can't talk about that. This is just barely related to it, so just to get it in there. So my question is then, how many years after the first Conan story was published did Age of Conan launch?
Oh my God, Jason, why?
Come on, don't you know when Conan was published?
No.
Everybody knows that.
No.
Don't worry, it looks like Mike has no clue either.
No, not at all.
Oh my God. It had to have been, I believe, before the 90s, I would think. I would have to guess.
Stories, not the movies.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It has to be before at least the 90s. Because I could have sworn that was relatively somewhat new. The movies were when I was younger, but maybe it was before that.
The movies were more of an 80s thing, yeah. With all
I'm going to have to say... Oh my God, this is a tough one.
That is tough.
I'm going to say 40? 40? Yeah, let's go 40.
40 years. Okay, Mike, was it more or less? Higher or lower than 40 years?
All right, so Age of Conan came out... I don't know the exact year, but I was living at my previous house. So I want to say that was like somewhere in the 2008, 9, 10, 11, right in there. Obviously, the Arnold movie, Conan the Barbarian was 80s. So that logic already puts it at, just from the movies, a 20-year gap. 30-year gap, close. I'm going to go with over 40. I think if the movie was like 85, and that's just a ballparking, that one. If that was just in the middle of the 80s, 85, and the game came out in, let's say, 2010, right around there, maybe a year or two off either way, that's already 25 years. And I think the property was well established by the time they actually made it into a movie. So I'm going to say it was higher than 40 years from the first published story to the MMO.
All right. Well, Age of Conan, you were close. It came out in 2008. And the first Conan story was published in 1932.
Oh.
So 76 years.
Nice.
Wow, I thought I underguessed.
Oh, shit. Where's my applause effect? I don't even
applause? He's got to remember the applause when he gets it, right?
I don't even have it open.
Oh, man. Come on. Let me know where it goes so I can't hear it.
It's coming. Open files. Applause, crowd cheering sound. Okay. Play.
Okay.
All right, got it.
So congratulations. Wow. Mike takes the early lead, goes up 1-0, and now it's his choice of category. We have Dungeons & Dragons Online, Free Realms,
Give me Rift.
Runescape.
Just give me Rift. Just give me Rift.
Okay. Right,
and I'm gonna miss it. Watch me totally obliterate the Rift question.
I think this one's actually tougher, to be honest. But
damn it! Don't say that.
Another topical question for you. It's almost Valentine's Day. So let's go back to 2012 when Tryon Worlds attempted to set the record for most number of in-game marriages in a 24-hour period in an MMO. They were successful because, frankly, it's a stupid record that nobody else has tried, and they probably would have been successful with something like 50, but they went well beyond that. So, how many couples got hitched in Rift between 9 a.m. on February 14th and 9 a.m. on February 15th, 2012?
I'm sorry, Mike.
Zach just knows it.
Okay, so
he knows the answer.
Not people.
No, I have no idea.
So it's not two people; it's one couple.
Yes, every couple.
All right, every couple. Yeah, they probably could have beaten that record with anything.
But how crazy high was it?
And what year? 2012.
2012.
2012.
So about a year after the game had come out.
Yeah, so it's already been out for a year or so. I'm married.
Q knows this. I think she actually got married to someone in this.
Who did?
Q.
Q is married to me in Rift.
Oh, that was okay. That's
we created actual wedding invitations and sent them out on Gamebreaker back then. So yeah, Q and I are married. We have the rings and stuff. I'm gonna go with 700. I think that's a challenging number that they probably could have reached with a promotion like that. That's 1,400 people, so that's not ridiculously out of line with, the player base at any given one time in a 24-hour period anyway. That's a lot of weddings. Would be impressive as far as beating the record. I'm going to go with 700.
All right, 700 says Mike. What do you say, Zach? Higher or lower?
I would have to imagine it's higher than that, because when it really comes down to it, if it's something that's monumental in terms of like blowing it out of the water, I think that, yeah, I mean, you could beat that record really easily, but I think that if they were actually trying to aim to do it, people would actually want to go out and try it, no matter, even if they just didn't even care about the feature in general. Do we have any info if there was like you get a reward for it? Like, were they offering any sort of compensation for doing it to try and beat the record, or was it just like, hey, let's try and beat this record?
Not that I know of. I have no information.
Yeah,
on that.
The marriage comes with a few items to begin with.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff, but nothing special, I think, for doing it in this period.
I gotta say higher. I gotta say higher, because I remember Rift being somewhat popular when it initially came out. It still is popular, so I just have to think that there is more than just that amount. So higher than 700, and the answer is 21,879.
What?
Yes. So just a little higher.
What?
Yeah.
That's the number of couples.
That's
42,000 people.
Dude, the game was still pretty popular back then.
Holy shit. We could have really used a hint on that one, I think, Zach.
I think you're just too conservative. The number 700, come on.
The number.
I felt like, I was like, wait, 700? There has to be more than that.
Yeah, but it's annoying. It didn't get you any benefits. Like, 21,000. Holy shit, I'm stunned. I am stunned.
Man. Gotta be more daring with your guesses.
I gave him the applause.
Okay, good. All right. It's your turn again now, Zach. We have DDO, Free Realms, RuneScape, and War Thunder left.
Oh my god. I don't like any of these categories. I'm gonna go RuneScape.
Ooh.
RuneScape.
Yeah.
All right. Now, even more impressive than the number of people still playing RuneScape is the number of bots in the game. It's more than a lot of games have even in total population. But Jagex tries its best to keep up, and in 1 week in late October 2011, they banned millions of gold farming accounts. How many million did they ban between October 25th and October 30th, 2011? So we have a number in the millions. What do you think it is?
Huh. I mean, well, I'll be honest. I bought it at least a couple times in that game, so I'm a culprit of this. I wasn't banned though.
All right, so that's one we can cross off the list.
Yeah, so it wasn't me. I don't.
Well, you've got your special Jagex connections too, so you probably don't.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. I don't know anyone who really didn't bot in that game though. That's a tough one. I mean, the millions doesn't really surprise me. I would have to say. I want to say 3 million. 3 million sounds right.
3 million is what you say. Mike, what do you think? Higher or lower?
Higher. When you start talking about millions, I think any guess at 1, 2, or 3 is just too low when you're just... It doesn't matter what the topic is. When you're talking about millions. You could be talking about voter fraud, right? When somebody says 1 or 2 millions, when somebody uses the phrase millions, I'm not thinking 1, 2, or 3. I'm thinking 5 and 8 and 10 and bigger numbers when you say it's millions and millions. So just by that logic, and that logic alone, not knowing dick about RuneScape, higher than 3 million.
I gotta get you guys switching on the questions here, because you always seem to have better logic when you're the second person on it. The answer is indeed 7.7 million.
Yes!
Wow.
So that's how many they banned in
that game than I thought. Holy crap.
All right, so that puts Mike up 2-1, and it's his guess now. Control of the board goes back to him.
All right.
Dungeons and Dragons Online, Free Realms, and Rune Thunder. War Thunder.
Rune Thunder. Rune Thunder. I'm going to take... give me DDO. Give me Dungeons and Dragons.
DDO. Okay. Well, DDO, a watershed MMO in the free-to-play world. Yeah. It was the first major Western MMO to go free-to-play. And somehow it was successful, despite not having lockboxes at the time. Or maybe it did. I don't know. But it did have a free-to-play... Now, it did have a free-to-play launch for VIPs, and then a little later, a free-to-play launch for everyone. So what was that date when it went free-to-play for everyone? What was the exact date?
Oh, shit. Oh, God. I hate these date ones.
It wasn't free-to-play for everyone from the beginning?
No.
No, apparently it had a week where it went free-to-play just for VIPs, which I don't get because they were already paying, but...
Right.
I'm just going with what Wikipedia
says. It did not
says.
launch free-to-play, Zach, if that's what
you're
you're
asking.
No.
Obviously.
It launched with a sub.
Shows how much I remember.
Oh God, I don't even remember when it launched. It launched at all.
Yeah, it did launch at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it did launch. Trying to remember any time recently if we've posted a news story on a DDO anniversary.
Fortunately, I could see your hand, so I know you're not like going on the website to look it up.
Right. Oh God. The most recent anniversary story I don't think was DDO. It was what's the other one that Lord of the Rings Online.
Lotro's got an anniversary.
Lotro has, what is that? It's their 10th anniversary coming up. All right, so that, and I know those two games weren't that far apart. DDO was before it, but I don't think it was all that long before it. So with the 10th anniversary coming up, that would be like 2006, 2007, maybe 2005 for DDO. Lotro would have been 2007-ish. And then how long was the gap between the VIPs and the free-to-plays? Typically, that's
the gap between them was only a week.
Yeah, I was going to say, typically those gaps are like a week or maybe 30 days or that type of thing. I'm going to go with, how long after launch did it go free-to-play?
That's what you need to know.
Yeah. So if I'm aiming for a 2004 to a 2006 launch, somewhere in there, Was sub for a little while, then went free to play, and I'm trying to come up with just the free to play date for everybody. I'm gonna go with. Typically, that's like a spring or summer type move for most companies. I'll go with April 30th, 2005. April 30th, 2005.
For the free-to-play launch?
Oh, the free-to-play launch. Shit.
That's his final answer.
When did it go free to play?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to
Go
figure out
free-to-play.
this whole time.
I'll still stick with April 30th, but then I'm going to change the free-to-play, the year to 2007. 2007.
Okay. April 30th, 2007. Zach, was it higher as in after that or lower as in before that?
You just had to clarify that, didn't you? Damn it. That would have been an easy one.
Fatal mistake.
I know for a fact that it didn't come out a year after World of Warcraft. At least I'm fairly certain that wasn't the case. And I remember Lotro actually being more relevant, at least before it, maybe. I'm starting to remember DDO's like ads and everything when it was going free to play and everything like that. World of Warcraft came out, I believe, in 2004, November 2004. So that completely gets rid of 2004. So then 2005, I think, would have been too soon. 2006, maybe. 2007, maybe. It has to be higher than that. I would be very surprised if it's not higher than what Mike said.
You think it's more recent than April 30th, 2007?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And the answer is September 9th, 2009.
Yep.
Wow.
It was quite a bit later.
Wow.
That was around when Lotro launched. Was in April of 07. I happen to know that. But...
yeah, World of Warcraft didn't light the world on fire that soon.
Well, it was pretty close. It was already up like 7 million or subs or something by that point. But yeah, quite a bit later.
Damn.
Oh, man.
All right, 2-2.
2-2.
That was a tough one. I did not expect DDO
I thought
to be
was,
that tough.
I thought that was one of the easier ones. Oh, my gosh. You work for a free-to-play site. You should know this stuff.
Yeah, you're bringing up games that are 14 years old.
It's 10 years old. It had its 10th anniversary last year. It was 06 that it came out. Anyway. All right, Zach, your choice. You got Free Realms and War Thunder to choose from.
Oh my God, you're sticking with two games that I just don't even play or have played really hardly at all. War Thunder, I played a little bit. Free Realms, I think maybe I dabbled in that for 2 minutes and then uninstalled it. I'm gonna have to go with the one that I played more. So let's go Wargaming.
War Thunder.
War Thunder, whatever.
Which is not Wargaming. Like, it's Gaijin Entertainment. It's not even Wargaming.
That just completely shows how much I care about these games.
Well, don't worry. This one's a pretty easy question. I just need to look 1 second here. All right, just making sure. Really easy question here. People like it a lot. What is its positive rating on Steam? Over 67,000 reviews. What is the percentage positive?
Ooh, that one actually... I might actually be able to wing this one.
See, that's not such a tough one. There we go. You finally got an easy one.
We're going overall, not recent, right?
Yes, just the overall.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna have to go with a 90.
Straight up 90.
Straight up 90, because I remember it being reviewed fairly well, and it's a fairly popular game. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go 90.
All right, Mike, higher or lower?
I agree with you. I think it's a well-received game. Has been for a long time. That's a lot of reviews, though. 67,000 to have a 90% rating, I think, is a little too high. There's very few titles, I think, that would hit a 90 or above in a sample size that large. So just playing the odds, I'm going to go lower.
Okay. And the answer is 83%.
Yes!
Oh.
So there you go. Mike plays the odds, gets the win, or gets the point. Making it 3-2 now.
Yes. But then I get Free Realms for... Oh, damn it.
Well, if you're bad with dates, you're going to hate this one.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. This is going to be terrible. I feel bad for you, man. All right. Well, it's always sad when a game shuts down, but not if it leads to a good trivia question, right?
Oh, God.
So,
I know where you're going with this.
For how many months was Free Realms active? Date of the PC launch to the date of closure. How many months?
How many
I
months?
do not envy you, Mike.
How many months?
Be aggressive, man. Don't be timid.
How many months? All right. So
if you win this one, you'll win the whole thing. If
I'm gonna
Zach wins, we'll go to the tiebreaker.
Let's narrow this down. We'll go from 0 to 23 because if it was over 23, you would probably express that in years, not months. We've seen games shut down in 60 days with the original APB. We've seen games, particularly from EA, that have closed before they even come out of beta, or when they do, 9 months later. I'm gonna park myself. I want to say it's less than 12, just because that's normally when you ask the question how many months, it's because it didn't make it a year.
Or it could be because it's not an even number of years.
Right, but that was my logic for giving me 0 to 23. It's because it didn't last 2 years to say the game lasted for 2 years and then folded. I'm going to park it right at 15 months. A little over a year. 15 months.
All right, Zach, higher or lower than 15 months?
That's a tough one, but I'm fairly certain it lasted longer than that. Not much longer, but longer. I think it's kind of like Wizardry Online, I think it's called, or whatever. It just sort of lasted even though no one's playing it. Although that might be naive. I mean, maybe Wizards Online's still going and it's really popular.
No, I think it did shut down.
It's shut down.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to go with higher because I remember it being at least a little higher than that.
Okay, the answer is you overthought this one, Mike. 59 months.
Holy shit!
Just short of 5 years.
Oh, who in their fucking right mind, Jason? Let me give you the applause.
Hey,
here. Expresses something over 5 years in the term months. Come on.
It wasn't 5 years.
This is shenanigans. This is shenanigans.
It's time for the tiebreaker.
Shenanigans.
Tiebreaker question. Oh, yeah.
Oh, bunch of horseshit.
We need
You
a
guys
pen and paper for this one.
ready? Got yourself ready
Oh,
to
that's
write
right.
your
We need a
answers?
pen and paper.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Let me scratch out my 31% from last time. All right, I'm ready.
All right, and you got the last question right, Zach, so you're going to choose even or odd. Which one do you want?
I'm going to go even because that's what won me last time. So.
All right. So here's the question. Listen carefully. Although really you don't need to that careful. I'm just going to have a bunch of stuff here so I can get all the verification and whatever. All right. In September of 2004, there was a survey of MMO players published on Gamasutra, which collected quantitative and qualitative data over 5 years, covering a wide number of topics in MMOs regarding basic demographics such as age and gender, behavioral topics, how many hours played, and so on and so forth. One question was, would you consider yourself addicted to your favorite game? 2,218 people responded. The choices were definitely not, probably not, maybe, probably, and definitely. Rounded to the nearest whole number, what percentage of players responded with probably or definitely? So which percentage of players said on some level they were addicted to their game?
You said in 2004?
2004.
Yeah, in a
So
5-year
before
survey, so
right.
you're dealing with 99 to 2004.
Yeah, September of 04, so even before WoW launched.
And it was about 2,000 people surveyed?
Yeah, 2218.
All right, and I'm odds. How many of those people were probably or definitely addicted to
What
their
percentage?
MMO?
Sorry, not how many people. Just
Yeah.
Percentage.
What percentage were definitely or probably addicted to their MMO of choice? And I got to take odds. All right. I'm locked in.
All right, Zach. Still thinking.
Oh, man.
Thinking hard.
I'm going to have to go.
So this would have been like EverQuest.
Eve, Star Wars
Eve.
Galaxies.
Is Galaxy's really that old? Wow.
Yeah. All right, you both ready?
Both ready.
Reveal your answers.
I shouldn't have scratched it out because I went with 31 again.
31, and Zach has 38. All right.
So we both put that at basically 1 and 3, saying they were probably or definitely addicted.
Yeah, I mean, the games were more hardcore back then, so like I feel like it has to be high.
Okay. And the answer was 41.
Yes!
Zach just about nails it perfectly.
So sick of this!
Again!
It's again.
I always like take him to round 15 and then get knocked out. It's what happens every single time, man.
So terrible. So sorry.
Oh.
All right, Zach, your prize for winning is this potato. Congratulations.
Yes, right. Potatoes for days.
Potatoes for days.
All right, but your real reward is you get to tell all the fans where they can find you on the internet.
Find me on Twitter at Zach Sharps, and next week when I win again, because I'm the best.
Wow, Mike, we're going to kick you off the show. We're going to get someone new in
here. Undefeated, and it takes you every question and tiebreakers. I wouldn't be boasting that highly.
Out the game, okay? You know, I want to give our viewers a quality show, so I let you get in the lead, and then I come back and win.
Oh, wow, you're like the Patriots or the Falcons.
I see.
You're the Patriots.
No, I'm the Patriots. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mike, where can we find you on the internet?
Twitter at Magicman1, and of course, obviously, when you're there, follow at MMOBomb.
All right, and you can find me tweeting at Winter Informal, streaming occasionally on twitch.tv/JasonWinter. And as always, head on over to MMOBomb.com for all your free-to-play gaming news, giveaways, videos, editorials, and so much more, all related to free-to-play gaming. Thank you both for your time. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.